design. Once the design is produced, and let's say you have now getting into production, one of the problems that is faced in typical manufacturing was what was earlier mentioned by Samip is how do you connect shop floor to the top floor? When you have large number of production machines, always there is a need to know what's exactly is happening. What is the production? What is the cycle time? What rejection is happening? If there is any breakdown, if there is any other type of downtime, who is the operator operating a particular machine, and so on and so forth. Traditionally, in manufacturing companies, especially automotive, this data is collected manually. So typically we have a docket which is filled up once an hour or at the end of the shift, and that data is collected. With the advent of ERP, that data had to be transferred in digital form. So what was done all along was, at the end of the shift, you collect those physical paper dockets and you enter them into the computer. So you have a host of data entry operators, if you like, who are gathering all these sheets and then entering them on the terminal. I mean, you can understand the kind of wastage that is happening in terms of manpower and the possibilities of errors. I mean, you can always make mistakes in filling up, you can make mistakes in reading what is there and entering it. So the problem is you can't get data in real time. There is a doubt whether how accurate the data is. And as a result, you cannot take quick decisions and you cannot take accurate decisions. So with that problem, which is I think prevalent all across manufacturing, we thought about connecting it directly using the digital technology. So what we did is, I think Samip mentioned, I think in their plants, they have done already. And same thing that we did was connecting all our machines to the ERP. So every machine has a small unit put on it, which has got a machine, human machine interface, on which you can enter the product that is being produced. This equipment captures automatically from the PLC of the machine when a product is manufactured, when a cycle time is completed, one part is produced on that machine, that data is picked up. So through this interface, this system exactly knows which machine, which part is being produced, how much time it is taken, if production is happening or production is not happening. If it is not happening, what is the reason for it not happening? What is the reason for the downtime, etc., etc. And that data is captured and then it directly goes to the SAP. So today in our plants, there is no manual intervention. All the production data is captured automatically into the SAP. And there is a complete visibility. Right now, I can pick up my mobile and look at that and find out which machine is running, what part, etc., etc. So this is what we did. But I think this implementation of this was not so easy. And that is because, just like what was said before, it's not about technology. It's not like you just buy any software, any technology and just put it. It's not like just buying a smartphone and start using it. To be able to benefit from this digitalization, I think we need to do certain things which are nothing to do with technology. And this is what exactly we did. We took 5 steps before we started the journey. And I will go over them one by one. First that we did was following the principle of people first. Because in a rush to implement new manufacturing technologies, I think we typically try to forget that there are systems already in place, and it can make people resist for anything that you bring in as a new. So it is important that people on the shop floor, also middle management, the executives, frontline leaders, they all first understand what are the technological changes they're going to take place. And therefore, training, education of employees, incentivizing them for the rollout, and carrying out activities to promote transformational intent through clear communication so that people understand exactly what's going to happen. They understand, they accept the need for the change and know how they are going to contribute to that change. So if this step is taken correctly in a timely manner, there will be buy-in for the entire team and the implementation will be smooth. So that was the first thing that we did. The second point was clarifying why. Typically, whenever we want to implement a technology, we get caught up in what and how of such activities. And we forget to address why. So addressing why we want to transform the organization digitally. Are we just going to do it because it is a hype, because everybody is talking about Industry 4.0 and we should also do it? Just because our neighbor is doing, I should do it. If we do that, then it will be a total disaster. We need to understand why we are doing it, why we need it. So setting clear objectives for digitalization and having a full understanding of what the end goal looks like. That's what we did, so that we align the team members so that we were able to overcome any potential barriers at the early stage. The third thing was establishing a common understanding, a common language. There are so many words running around: IoT, IIoT, smart factory, machine learning, AI, and so on and so forth. And many people do not understand what exactly. This is all a lot of hype around those words. So digitalization typically covers everything from rudimentary use of digital controllers to the use of big data, cloud connection, cloud computing, and so on and so forth. So any confusion in people's mind about what exactly is the digitalization we are going to do in our shop is going to create problem, create misalignment, chaos. And therefore establishing a common understanding of precisely what means what. And that is what we did as the third step. Fourth was creating success stories. It's a multi-year journey. It's not something which we say that, yes, we want to do digitalization, so let's go ahead and do it. What we did was we picked some quick wins so that we can gain some knowledge and confidence. We of course thought big, saying that we have to do it across the organization, all plants, but we started small with a proof of concept projects. These such projects were short, requiring minimal resources and very high probability of success. Because if the first project fails, then you have a big problem going forward. So with the first success stories created, it can snowball into many more success stories. So what we did was taking a step-by-step approach. It also revealed unknowns like problems with networking, machine-to-machine communications, integration with legacy systems, and so on and so forth. So such exposed issues were fixed early on, and therefore we didn't have problem in the overall implementation. Final and last fifth point was about equipping the team for the change. I think it is quite reasonable when we are doing something like this for employees to be nervous about the change. Several reasons: fear of the unknown, belief that there is no personal reward in what is there for me in this, clash of KPIs, climate of distrust, fear of failure, worries about job security, and many more. So what we did was we ensured that all these concerns were addressed by providing appropriate support and training. When we did all this, what I mentioned earlier was today everything from shop floor to the top floor complete transparency, there's complete information flow in real time. Anywhere in the world you are, you know what's happening. All that could be done using technology, of course. But the first hurdle is non-technological, which is human related. And that is very important, I believe, in success of any such journey.